In today's episode, I'm going to be digging deeper into why your side hustle is not working. I'm going to be stripping away all of the excuses, and we're going to be looking at two specific psychological barriers that keep perfectly talented people broke. We're going to look at underpricing your goods or your services out of fear, and we're going to look at operating that side hustle of yours with a gig mindset. These aren't bad habits, they are business killers. And by the end of this episode, you're going to have the mental tools to stop letting fear set your prices. And I'm also going to give you the tools to stop acting like the part-time hired help in your business, which you are not. Welcome back to Choices TV. My name is Anthony Charles, and whether you are starting a business or dreaming of leaving that 9 to 5 to make it happen, I'm here to help you to turn your knowledge, your ideas, and your skills into real money. And we're going to do that by strengthening your mindset, mastering your people skills, and boosting your productivity. This is part 2 of our side hustle series. And if you missed part 1, where I broke down the critical financial structures that you need, like the 30% buffer or avoiding co-mingling of funds, then make sure you check out the link in the description box below. Should I point up there and see if one of those links appears so that you can watch that channel? I tell you what, I had no idea that I was running doing a side hustle series. But since that's what it says on the script that's in front of me, then that must be what I'm doing. And since I wrote it, and it must be correct, I wish I would let myself know what I was doing sometimes. I'm beside myself with worry. Okay, let's get into business. If you are terrified to charge what your goods or your service are really worth, or if you treat your business like a casual hobby while expecting professional results, then you're just sabotaging your chances of financial freedom. Today on Choices TV, we're going to be fixing your mindset so you can be more, you can do more, and you can have more. So let's look at the first barrier, and that first barrier is underpricing. It's a big barrier to success. I guess for me, the whole problem is with the side hustle mentality. I haven't got anything against the term side hustle, but I don't find a lot of people who are making a lot of money and very successful in business referring to what they're doing as a side hustle. So I think there's a certain mentality that comes with the term side hustle. A lot of people I meet who are calling what they are doing side hustle, they run their business in a way that they say, look, this is just something I'm doing on the side, or it tends to be run in a way that it's not that serious, and it gives you an out if things don't quite work out. You can say I was just doing it on the side anyway. I think that thinking comes from fear. It probably comes from imposter syndrome. You don't feel that you have the experience, or you don't have a fancy shop, you don't have a big office, you don't have all of that clout behind you, so you don't feel so confident, and you don't feel great about charging market rates when it comes down to the goods or the services that you provide. So what do? You underprice it to be safe, and you think, just like I've done in the past, you get to thinking, if I'm cheap, then they can't say no. Number one, they'll buy it, and if it's not that good, they can't even complain, because you know at this price they can't get perfection. There is just a world of problems with that. And when I'm speaking about this and I'm telling you the world of problems that come with that, I'm talking out of experience, because I've done the whole thing where I have just priced either my products or my services way too cheap. Two things happen when you price your products and services way too cheap. You attract the wrong clients, full stop. People who are out there shopping and they're shopping only on price, they are often the most demanding, and they are the least loyal. I can tell you, when I started off in coaching, I would, I'm laughing because Tom used to call them the burnt offering people. He said to me, why do you always go and find these burnt offering people? Look, in the early days, I was scared. I didn't have that much experience. I knew what I had learned. I had trained to be a coach, but I was too scared to charge good prices. So I would go out there and I would get clients and I charge them next to nothing. These are people who would come along, they would set goals, they would do nothing, they just were not committed, and they didn't care because the money didn't matter to them. It was so little money, and then when they didn't get the result that they wanted, then they were looking at everywhere else apart from themselves. And I would be thinking to myself, well, what is wrong with them? But it was my fault, because I shouldn't have been working with them in the first place. there's a saying that when people pay more, they pay more attention. It's simple as that. So that's the first problem you get when you don't charge the right prices. The second thing you get is you send out this big signal that says, I am low value. And psychologically, we equate price with quality. Let me prove it to you. If you buy a garment and you spend a lot of money on the garment, you know, into the hundreds, you do not expect to look at the label and see Primani. And for those of you who don't know, or in other countries, Primark is a discount shop in the UK. You don't expect to see that. If you charge £20 for a service that usually costs £100, the client doesn't think that they got a bargain. No, they think that there is something wrong with your service. Let me prove it to you. This is Heinz baked beans. If you're watching in a country and you've never seen Heinz baked beans before, this is almost a staple diet in the UK. It is beans with tomato sauce. It sells for the best part of £1. Okay, so for those of you who know what baked beans are, or your equivalent wherever you're watching from, if you have a product like beans and it normally sells for the best part of £1, if you go to the shop and they're selling it for 10p, you go to the shop, they're all selling it for 10p. What do? Do you quickly scoop up 10 and put them in the basket and just take them home? No, you're going to ask yourself a set of questions. One of the questions you're going to ask, I don't know if it's the first one, but you're definitely going to say, why is it so cheap? The other thing you're going to do is you're going to say, what is wrong with it? Just try it. Just out of interest, just talk to somebody casually and say, oh, I went to the shop the other day and baked beans were selling for 10p. I bought 10 of them. They're going to ask you if you checked the date. They're going to ask you if the tin was dented. They're going to say, what was wrong with it? That is how it works. So if you charge cheaply for your services, what makes you think that the customer will see you, your products and your service any differently? Let me show you how to fix this. You've got to separate your time from value. I'll say that again. You've got to separate your time from value. You've got to stop pricing based on how long it takes you to do something or how safe you feel. You've got to price based on the results that you provide for your clients or the value that you provide for them. Let's say in your side hustle, you provide a service that takes you 1 hour to provide the service and it saves the client 10 hours of work. So you do 1 hour of work and your client gets to save 10 hours of work. What would you charge them? Would you charge them for the hour that you worked, or would you charge them for the 10 hours that you saved them? And let me give you some figures with that. Let's say the 1 hour of work was £100. You charge £100 an hour for your work. Let's say that the 10 hours that you save your client was equivalent to £2,000 for them. So what would you charge them? Would you charge them the £100 per hour, but you've saved them, you know, £2,000? Or would you charge them £200? Would you charge them £500? What about £1,000? That's, you know, they're still saving £1,000. You know, I bet the higher I got, the more uncomfortable you got. Let me tell you the story of the mechanic and the machine. One day on a factory floor, there was a big machine, and this machine had not broken down in many years. It was just whirring away. Then all of a sudden they came to a stop. It wasn't working. They called out the foreman called out the manager, and they were all looking at this machine and saying, what do we do? The manager said to the foreman, what did you do last time it broke down? The foreman said, I've been here 4 years. It's never broken down. There was one gentleman, he said, I've been here nearly 8 years. The last time that machine broke down was about 5 years ago. And there's a number on the side for the engineer. Call that number. So the manager, they call the number. The engineer comes out, same day. He comes in, he goes around to the left-hand side of the machine. He opens up a inspection flap. He shines his torch in there, goes around to the front. He looks through the front, he nods his head. He goes around to the side, he unscrews this small panel, and he reaches in and he tightens a screw. He puts the panel back on, switches the machine back on, and it whirs back into action. He looks at the manager, looks at the foreman, and he said, this shouldn't be a problem for the next 4, possibly 5 years. If there's any problem, ring me back. And he goes, he said, I'll send you an invoice. I installed this machine many years ago. I know your address. He sends the invoice in. The invoice is for £1,000. So the manager looks at the foreman, he shows him the invoice, and he said, he was only here 15 minutes. How is it worth £1,000? So the manager emails the engineer, and they say to him, okay, can you itemize this invoice for us? I want to see what I'm paying for. So he sent back an itemized invoice, and it had 3 items on there. Number 1, it was to inspect the machine, was £1. Number 2, to tighten the screw was £1. And number 3, to know which screw to tighten was £998. So you see, He wasn't charging them for the 15 minutes he was spending there. He wasn't charging them for tightening the screw. He was charging them for the value that he brought to them, knowing which screw to tighten, which means the machine is not going to break down in the next 4 to 5 years. Going back to your equation, you are not charging your client for the hours work. You're not charging them, that £100. You're charging them for the 10 hours that you save them. So you got to think about that. Here's my challenge to you. Whatever you are charging for your products or your services right now, I want you to look at the pricing. And if you feel comfortable with the pricing, then it's too low. The price should make you feel slightly nervous, a little bit the way you felt when I was asked the question if you would charge £200 or £500, or when I went up to £1,000, how you started to feel there. Your price should make you feel slightly nervous. That nervousness is growth, and the nervousness is you stepping into the identity of a business owner, not just the part-time help. Remember this, you cannot have more if you are too afraid to ask for it. Now, if you like this kind of video where I share with you what I've learned through my life experiences and how it determines the decisions I make on a day-to-day basis and how it can help you, then please like, please share, and please subscribe. I have to keep on asking you to subscribe because so many people watch these videos and they don't subscribe. If you subscribe and you like and you share, it helps me to reach more people and it helps me to make more videos like this. So let's talk about the second barrier to your success, and that is the gig mindset. Good old inconsistency. When you run your side hustle with the gig mindset, you work when you feel like it. You show up when you need the money for this week or next week, and you're happy with bringing in money every now and then. That's no problem. If that's how you want to run your business, then that's fine. If you want to treat your business like a hobby, then you are going to have hobby income. But isn't this supposed to be an income generator for you, this thing that you're doing? Surely you want to be financially secure. A hobby is something that you do when you feel like it, when you feel inspired. Business is something that you do because you are disciplined. The problem with the gig mindset or the hobby mindset is that it relies on motivation, and motivation, it just is not cutting it. If you think motivation is all that, then watch this video here and watch me break down motivation to you. Motivation is just a feeling, and feelings, they change. Feelings come and go. If you're running a side hustle with a gig mindset, then it's easy to say that, I'm just not feeling it today. Just like a gig worker could do. They can wake up in the morning and they can say, I don't feel like delivering any food today. I don't feel like delivering any parcel today. If you only work that side hustle when you feel like it, then you're never going to build momentum. You are constantly going to be starting and stopping. You're going to be inconsistent, and inconsistency, it kills trust. For instance, if you're inconsistent on YouTube, your audience will soon forget you, and then you get to make videos with thumbnails like this. If you delay a client because you don't feel like it, you're getting from work, you've got an order, or you've got something that you're supposed to do for a client and you just can't be asked because you're just too tired today, then you're going to miss out on a repeat order, you're going to miss out on a referral or a good recommendation. If you're running your side hustle when you feel like it, then you're just behaving like an employee. And I've got nothing against employees. I've been an employee for a good part of my life, but I tell you something about being an employee. Most employees, they wait until they are told what to do. And some employees, they wait until they're pushed and forced to do something. A CEO, a business owner, they decide what needs to be done and they ensure that it happens regardless of how they feel. Let me give you a fix. Firstly, you don't need motivation. And willpower, that's not enough. You need systems and you need a business mindset. So one of the first things you might want to do is to drop that term side hustle. I know I said I don't mind it, but I think that it really gives people the mentality that they're not doing something serious. So drop that term side hustle when you're describing your business. If saying that you are in business makes you feel uncomfortable, then stick with it. That's growth. The same way I talked about increasing your prices, stick with it. If when you say I'm in business, you feel a bit, you're going to grow into it. Don't say I'm going to work on my business when I have time, because you will never have time. Don't say I'm going to make time, because you don't make time. The only person who makes time is God. The rest of us, we just get to use it. And some people, they use it badly. They spend it, they lose it, they even waste it. You have to invest your time. You've got to schedule time. So let's say, for instance, you come in on a Tuesday and a Thursday and you say between 7 and 9 o'clock, I am going to be running my business. Even if you're at the beginning stage of your business where you're making a business plan, you are going to dedicate that time. Or let's say a Saturday morning, you're going to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and you're going to work between 6 and 10 o'clock. And you're going to say, that's the dedicated time I'm going to be working on my business. Those blocks of time are non-negotiable. Even if you just sit there during the time and look at the screen like you do at work sometimes, you have to show up consistently. Consistency is boring. And if you're from an old version of the Matrix like me, then consistency is long. And it's not exciting at all sometimes. It could just be, but you know what? It's what real business owners do. And it's the only way that I can think of to get a pathway to doing more. You can't build an empire on sporadic effort. You can't just keep stopping and starting. Let me leave you with this. The barriers to your success come down to the decisions that you make every single day. So are you going to keep on underpricing yourself because you're afraid to be seen as a professional? Are you going to keep on treating this business like some side gig working only when you feel like it? Or are you ready to make a choice to be more, to do more, and to have more? To be more, you have to first become the kind of person that does the thing that you want to achieve. Now, if that didn't quite make sense to you, then watch this video here and let me teach you about alignment, because being that person, it comes down to alignment, being in alignment with your goals. Doing more is showing up consistently, even when it's hard, even when you don't want to. And if you can be more and if you can do more, then you will surely have more. If you found value in today's episode, then do me a favor, hit that like button. It will help us to reach so many more good people like you. And going forward, please stop underpricing. You are worth so much more. Start showing up consistently and keep on being amazing, because you are. And I will see you in the next episode. Feeling good? Want more results like this? Let's keep that momentum going with this video here. Also, click on my head here to subscribe.